Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to the Oak Bridge Chronicles here on Oak Bridge Farm. I hope you're all doing really well and having a great day. So, precision farming is here, as I'm sure we're all aware, ladies and gentlemen. It landed yesterday on the 8th of May. So that obviously adds a whole load more precision and detail into our soil mapping and all the use of fertiliser and manure and all that kind of stuff in the game, which is brilliant. Do like any addition of detail is welcomed from my side of things anyway. But here on Oak Bridge, at the minute, it's landed at a rather unopportune moment, hasn't it? Because I'm completely skint almost. We've only gone, as I'm sure some of you may well be aware, in the last episode, I invested just about every penny that we had into a new plot of land here on the right, a nice empty field that well, it was two plots of two fields, wasn't it, that I've stitched together. This one here, and yeah, invested all that money into it, leaving just shy of £4,000 in the bank. So I can't really afford to buy any of the nice new equipment. I can't afford to kit out the sprayer with the additional technology needed for the spot spraying technology needed. I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to buy any of the crop sensors at the minute. As it happens, the only tractor I've got on the farm at the minute that I can fit the passive sensors to on the wing mirrors is the Massey, because this is base game, so it supports it. The JCB, obviously, with it being a modded machine from Ross End Mods and Hans's big Fent here, they haven't got the option to fit them to, so I can't do anything with these. So the Massey is the only one I can use, which is fine. So the main thing is I have got a tractor that I can fit the passive sensors to anyway. Obviously the active sensor, that's a separate thing. We can fit that to the front and go as we wish with that thing, but I can't afford to buy it. I can't really afford to, well, I probably could afford to lease it for an hour or so, but the reality is at the minute, with all of our fields, I don't need it, because when we left the last episode and the last couple of episodes, all of our fields are fully fertilised and essentially just can be left to their own devices until harvest time. But I don't have any soil data, which is something that I do need to figure and get that sorted. So what I think I'm going to do for the first little bit of today, and to be honest, it's probably going to be something I'm going to get done off camera because it's not particularly interesting to watch. There's a lot of land to cover, and I'm going to be trying to do it as quickly as possible. In that, not rushing it, of course. I can't rush the machine and tell it to work any faster. It takes a few seconds to do each individual scan. The scanning radius, I haven't used it yet, but if the scanning radius is anything like what it was back on 22, it's painful, and when you've got big fields like I have, it's going to take quite a while. So the reality is, what I'm going to do to make a start in getting my teeth into precision farming, because I haven't actually looked at precision farming yet properly at all. This is my first real opportunity. Yesterday, when the precision farming was released yesterday, I literally only had a few minutes of my own time. I just jumped. I activated the mod, obviously, and jumped over into the Iowa cattle map and just had a quick look, just to make sure that it works and that there wasn't any problems, and everything seemed okay at the time. The one thing I did like, the first thing I did notice, is that the NPC owned fields, the ones that have germinating crops in, already have visible trem lines in, which was quite a nice touch. So that was pretty cool. But obviously this is going to be our only field at the minute that we're going to be able to, when it comes to drilling, I'll be able to program in the width of our the width of our sprayer, sorry, and then I'll be able to experience the new, one of the new facilities of precision farming, in that you can, when you're drilling, you can program in the width of your sprayer and create tram lines to suit that, which is brilliant. I'm really looking forward to getting into that, and obviously this is our only field that we'll be able to do that in at the minute. So with that in mind, the first thing I can do, the only thing I can do at the minute now to try and take advantage of the first few things that precision farming has to offer, is I am going to lease the soil scanner, which is going to cost, I'll do that right now actually. Let's have a look. Let's jump into our menus, into the miscellaneous section here, the Isaria Scout. Here it is. There we go. So if I lease that, it's going to cost £867, £357 an hour, 170 a day, and the base cost of 340. So yeah, we're going to lease that. There we go. Lovely stuff. And like I say, what I'm going to try and do is essentially get round as fast as possible within the confines of how fast the scanner will allow me to go, and get all of my land scanned. It's going to cost a lot of money. The reality is, I believe I'm pretty much going to finish off with a negative balance, quite possibly, if it lets me go that far. I hope it doesn't stop me and say, sorry, you haven't got enough money to carry on with this. If that's the case, I'm going to be left with no choice but to get a loan, and I'll have to just do that in, obviously, £5,000 increments. That's the best I can do. We currently have a loan of £10,000 that I got a couple of episodes back, of course. I'd like to, obviously, as I'm sure we'd all like to do, I want to be in debt for as little as possible. So that's going to be the approach. So I'm going to, it's 1:30 in the afternoon now. I'm going to make my way to the shop, pick up this scanner, get all the fields scanned, and then we'll be able to see where we go from there. Because obviously, once, like I say, with all of our fields being completely fertilised, for example, if I just jump out now and just have a quick look in the linseed field here, the current yield at the minute is looking pretty good. Obviously, the fertilised stage message that we had in the bottom right hand corner is now gone, obviously because of precision farming's arrival. But we're currently, right now, in this little area of the field, we've got a current yield of 187.5%, which is brilliant. The moisture is quite high at the minute, actually, with it being, I think, with it being the season that we're in. We have had a bit of rain, so the moisture is doing currently at 12.67%. Perfect moisture is at 16, so that's not so bad either. But apparently, I have read reports that precision farming and realistic weather aren't necessarily working very well together. I haven't deactivated either of the two, obviously, in this save game so far. We'll just play it by ear and see how it goes, see what happens. But as I said, I'm going to get this cracked on with. I'm going to try and get all of the land that I own scanned with the soil scanner, so that we can get a little bit more accurate information into the and create a bit of a soil map and go from there. So I'll pick you up as soon as physically possible when all that's done, and I'll come back with a report, and we'll see where we are, if we've had to get another loan or if we're in minus figures. Obviously, we've got the biogas plant is obviously working away for us in the background there, churning away the manure and the slurry and whatnot and the silage. So we will be getting a residual income every hour from that. So obviously, I do have that to consider. But for now, there may well be a short space of time where we go into negative figures, possibly. Like I say, but obviously having not properly used it or tested it yet, if it allows me to go into negative figures or it just stops me in my tracks and says, no, sorry mate, you haven't got enough money for this, we shall see. So anyway, right, I shall crack on, and I think I'll get started with the big linseed field here, and I'll pick you up as soon as possible when we've got a bit of a soil map. Right then, so almost 2 hours later, and in a second's time, 365 soil samples taken. What a job this has been, quite frankly. It is relatively mind-numbing, I must admit. But what I've done is, I'll bring up the big mini-map, as it were, but I have very neatly, I've tried my very best, and I've tried my very best to be as economical as I can with the scanning radius of this thing, because it's quite a job trying to scan squarish shaped straight edge fields with a circular radius, but nonetheless it's done. So what do we need to do? We need to send soil samples for analysis. There we go. You will see the results on the soil types map soon. There we go. But what I'm intrigued to know is how much this is going to cost. Now I did what I have done is, let's get this thing folded up. I went through them because I know that you can buy the soil, so you can buy the soil data. I appreciate that. What a mucky tractor we've got here. It's very difficult to see where I'm going here. Goodness me. And it is quite dark, let's be fair, but look at the state of that window. Need to give this thing a wash. Yeah, sorry. So I know full well that you can purchase the soil samples from the map as a field by field, and I added up all of the farm's land and how much it was going to cost me to buy all the soil data, and it came to pretty much £96,334. So I'm hoping, because I don't actually know this answer, is whether it's going to be considerably cheaper or not for us to have done what we've done in respect of in respect of leasing the equipment and doing the scans ourselves. We'll find out shortly, at some point soon, when when the bill goes out the bank. Now, obviously, we've had a dribbling of money every hour or so in from the biogas plant of a few £100, and we've also had a couple of vehicle leasing costs go out at about 300 and something quid. But I do feel that we are going to have a bank account in the minus figures at some point very soon, that's for sure. How long it's going to take, I'm not too sure. There we go. Let's turn this off because you need a wash, that's for sure. So let's give this thing a clean off. Oh, I've got my hazards going, didn't realise that. Yeah, so, but what this is going to give us the opportunity to do now, when the soil sample data is done and dusted, and we've got the information on our map PDA and visible to us, so we can see what soil our fields are actually made of. We're going to be cracking on with spreading a little bit of lime in our new field and get the pH values of that field at least brought up to as accurately where it needs to be. Now, like I said before, all the other fields have been done, obviously, prior to precision farming, but there may well be, there's a possibility we might have patches that aren't up to the exact numbers, perhaps. Not too sure. It'll be interesting to see the information that we get when we get the soil sample data back. So let's just sit back and chill out for a few minutes. I'm hoping it should come through any minute now, I think, but I might just cut this clip off here, fast forward time until the bill comes through, and I'll let you know what it is, and then we'll see what the state of the bank balance is when that's been and gone. Right, well, the bill has left the account, and as you can see, we're now £51,588 in the negative, which is bad, I suppose, but it's not a debt, it's not an actual loan or anything, but either way, the process of doing things manually like that with the scanner has saved us £41,584. Like I said, the total cost of buying in the scanned data for the soil was £96,334. That's just cost us £54,750. So we've saved £41,584, which is a massive saving. It was well worth the time doing that, I've got to say. But nonetheless, the bank account's looking pretty awful right now. So, I mean, it is winter, thankfully, so we'll see through the next couple of months, obviously, doing what we need to do. We've got to, in fact, I need to check, actually. We do have lime in here. I think we better add do. Where are we? Yep, yeah, we've got plenty of lime in here. We've got 58,892 litres. And I think we might have something left in the spreader here. I'm not too sure. Lime, 5,272. Now, the other thing I'm very interested to see if they are going to work together. I don't think they will. I think it might be a bit of a tall order asking if they will work together, but it is the altering of the spray amounts. So forgive me, I forgot the name of the mod. Adjust spray levels. Sorry, that was the thing. I was just about to jump into the menu to remind myself what the mod was called. Adjust spray levels. Obviously, I do still have that running as well, but whether that is going to play ball with precision farming or not, I don't know. We shall see. So anyway, so the one thing I do have to do very quickly is return the soil sampler. So if we go into our garage list, switch mode, there's our Isaria Scout. Yeah, we want to return that. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Job done. Right. It's 4 o'clock in the evening now, isn't it? So I think what might be a good idea is if I call it a end of the day now, and we'll pick up tomorrow morning. We do have a little bit of snow expected, looking at the expected forecast coming into the future. 12 to 14 centimetres. Let me just jump into our menus here. So let's have a look. This is our soil map. So a considerable amount of our large fields here are made up of silty clay, a bit of loam and a bit of sandy loam. The grass fields, field 17 down here, a good chunk of that is loamy sand, predominantly sandy loam with a bit of loam. So yeah, a nice spread of all the different types of soil. But the big ones here, obviously, the silty clay is quite thirsty work, I know that much. Going back to FARMERSIM 22, as is fields 2 and 3 here. Our latest acquisition. Right, so I'm just trying to think of making an executive decision as to whether we spread lime now before the snow does arrive. Let's just jump into our menu again, have a look at the weather. So snow's coming from about 10 till 2 in the morning, and then tomorrow snow, into February we've got snow, so I think it could actually be beneficial for me to do this now, get the liming done now before the snow comes. I think that's probably going to be the sensible thing to do, so we shall do that, I feel. No, I didn't jump into that, I jumped into my tractor. Get a bit closer, there we go, that's better. I've already done the washing. So, let's get our lime spreader hitched up. Now, fortunately, this isn't going to cost us any money, because we've already got the tank full of lime, thankfully. But we will top up, get it filled. There we go. Yeah, get that thing topped up. There was nothing actually visibly coming out of the auger there, but we are filling up. But yeah, like I say, I'm very keen to see if, and we'll do a small patch, because I think what I will try and do is I'll try and throw this this job into a bit of a cinematic. But before we do, I'm just going to see, now that we've got the soil data, we'll take this into the field, and we'll just see what the soil data says and what it's requiring for the pH level, and see if, because I don't actually think I have adjusted the adjustable spray levels for the lime yet. Let's just jump into the menu there and have a look for that one. So adjust spray levels. Right, so lime, we've got down to 20% at the minute, so let's just see if it does the job spraying at 20%, because that'll still make the lime that we've got last longer. But whether it'll do the job and get the pH values brought up to where it needs to be is another matter entirely. So we jump out of here. So the pH value is okay, 6.5 out of a necessary 7.0. Okay, so if we now turn this on, there we go. This is running at 20% adjusted. There we go. Let's just do that little patch for now. There we are. See what that says. Ah! Surprise, surprise. It says good. 6.875 out of 7. It's actually a little bit high there. If we jump into our precision farming map and have a look at... Where are we? Where's our soil It's right at the end here, isn't it? Soil types, pH levels. Right, there we go. Okay, so seems we've over-applied it there at the very first point where I turned the machine on. But moving forward, as we started to move, that could have been a result of us sitting still. So that was actually mentioned. I think it was by Dutch Modelling over on my Discord. He did say that there's still... You've got to be very careful, especially when it comes to turning round at the end of the rows and such, that you do risk. You've got to be really on top of turning the machinery off. So whether it's going to be a good idea for me to do this with course play or not, it might actually be better for me to do this manually and throw this job into a time lapse as opposed to a cinematic using course play and auto drive, purely because of the method in which course play will use when it turns the machinery on. It will overspray in a lot of areas at the end of the rows, for example, when it stops and when it needs to turn around. So that might be the best approach for this, to make to be as economical as possible with the lime, even though we do have the adjust spray levels mod on. We need to close that gate so that doesn't get in our way. But yeah, I think moving forward from here, I'm going to jump into the tractor. I'm going to get this lime spread, being as careful as I can with the actual activation of the spreader, and make sure that I don't spread while I'm stood still, essentially. So and try my very best not to overlap as well, because that's another thing to be mindful of. So we've got this patch here which is oversprayed with it, so to speak. Where's the numbers there? 7.5 out of a necessary 7. So it still says the pH value is okay, but it's not good. So too little is good. Too little is okay. Perfect is good, and too much is okay, as in a way. So yeah, we need to be careful. So right, let's get this done.
I thought it would kill me to fall scare me to let you in, but I was paper thin. You saw right through me and I gave in. My mind was occupied, man, I was on a high. I could run forever to get a minute, just a minute of your time. If this is what it's like, I could get used to late nights dancing my ways. I could get used to long drives, cab rides, your place. I could get used to me fighting just for the hell of it, and you putting up with it, 'cause you let me to bed. Late nights dancing our ways. I could get used to this, taking the good with the bad. Never had something like this. I'm so glad that I found it for you in the dark. Love on the weekend on repeat, we're just another cliche, but who cares anyway? I could get used to late nights dancing my ways. I could get used to long drives, cab rides, your place. I could get used to me fighting just for the hell of it, and you putting up with it, 'cause you let me to bed. Late nights dancing our ways. I could get used to late nights dancing my ways. I could get used to long drives, cab rides, your place. I could get used to me fighting just for the hell of it.
Right, job done. Lime spread, my first bit of precision farming in FARMERSIM 25. Really happy with the results. So, yeah, all good. But one thing that is still a little bit confusing, let me just pop the gate. When we jump into our precision farming menu, as you can see now, looking at the pH values, it's left a relatively stripy kind of pattern to the field, doesn't it? I wasn't necessarily expecting that, and I have actually tried to make sure that it wasn't the adjusted spray levels mod causing that problem. I have just adjusted the lime spreading side of it back up to 100%, and I've just run some up and down, just a couple of up and down rows in this direction, left to right, just to see if it would get rid of that stripe. But no, sure enough, it's made no difference whatsoever. But obviously that's following the pattern and direction of the way I was spreading the lime in the field. So I can't answer that. I've got no answer for that, unfortunately. But regardless, there's a lot less blue than I thought there was. Like I said, I was trying to be very careful not to overlap the rows and such, and just be mindful of that. But it seems this big blue patch here was just as a result of turning the lime spreader on while I was stood still. So anyway, it is what it is. But obviously now that we've done what we've done in today's episode regarding getting the soil scanned data into the game. Another little nice feature that I don't recall being there in FARMERSIM 22 is just that there. You see, if you hover, obviously I'm using a control pad. Forgive me, I've just done entirely the wrong thing. Where are we? Precision farming. So if I just hover my cursor over a field, leave it for a second or two, you'll see it brings up a nice box there that just gives you the information that you get from your bottom right hand corner of your screen. So I can see here that the pH value is now bad, even though we'd spread lime in all these fields. Obviously these fields ideally now need another coat of lime, but I can't do that because the soils, the crops are germinated in all of these fields here, including the grass here and the linseed here and this big field of grass here. So that I'm not going to be, I mean, I can do, the game will allow me to do it if I wanted to. I could go and throw a load of lime across all of these fields, but I know that's not the correct thing to do. If I was trying to do things even remotely realistically, you wouldn't be throwing lime over a germinated crop. So that's just going to have to stay there for now until harvest time. Then we can really get to work and get the exact numbers in this for these soil types here in these fields to exactly what they need to be. So that's all good. But regarding now and what we're going to do, well, obviously it's January, it's winter. Now that I've got this lime done, there's very little, I feel, for me to do apart from keep on top of the cows. And obviously looking at the bank balance at minus 51,263 quid, I mean, I can't even buy anything now because because my bank account is now in a minus figure. I can't buy anything, so I'm going to need to do something about that. So one thing I am intrigued to do, if I go into my menus very quickly, and we can just have a look at the finances from the last couple of months. So where are we? Let's go down here. So BGA income, here we go. So in December we received £16,600, November 15,000, October 12,000. So far in January we've got just under 5,000 quid. So what I'm going to do is essentially I'm just going to fast forward time now, not completely, not in one hit, but basically go from where we are now into spring, into March, and see how much that biogas plant can repair our bank balance, because until I can, you know, we need some money for some stuff at least. So the reality is I need to bring that bank balance up to over zero. So the plan is, I think, like I say, I'm going to spend off camera now. I'm going to spend the next couple of months very quickly just keeping on top of the manure and the slurry and the cow feed, making sure that the Lely bot is topped up with everything it needs. It's pretty much topped up anyway, isn't it? But yeah, just make sure I keep my eye on it, and yeah, essentially just fly through until March, until we should have a bit of lighter, sunnier weather as well, and go from there. So I shall pick you all back up in a few months' time, or a matter of minutes as it happens, and crack on. Right, winter done with, welcome to spring everyone, and I think I've got myself a way out of my little financial trouble here, bringing the bank balance back up to something a little bit more healthy. So we've worked our way through winter obviously, and I've shifted a little bit of manure and slurry over to the biogas plant, and also obviously I've just been topping up the goats there with a little bit of water. They've started producing goat milk, not a huge amount. We've got a whole pallet of 1,000 litres, and I think there's about 58 litres in the other pallet. So yeah, they've started producing. It is actually a lot slower than what I thought, but they're all in good health and they are producing goat milk nonetheless. But because I've shifted a load of milk over to the to our dairy, and obviously, like I say, the manure and slurry, as you can see, we whittled the negative figure of the bank balance down to 27,459 quid. So we're getting there, and I think, well, I'm almost certain I've got myself a way out, because we've got just over £11,500 worth of cheese over at the dairy ready to be sold. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to go and sell that, and then we also have one thing I am going to take advantage of, is we have 1.8 million litres of straw over in the barn just next to us there. So knowing now the pace in which the cows go through it, I'm pretty confident that I can afford to sell a good chunk of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I think it would be wise. There's no point sitting on it if it's if I don't need all of it necessarily. And obviously now that we are in spring, we've only got a few months to wait before harvest time, come June and July time, for the barley and the wheat and the linseed. So we've got, as I say, over here in the barn, we've got a ton of the stuff. So I'm going to empty a load of that out and take it to the garden centre bale sell point and get that sold. And hopefully by that point, once I've got rid of I don't know exactly how much I'm going to get rid of yet, but enough to bring the bank balance past zero again, and essentially maybe give ourselves a little bit of money in the bank there just to float us by for the next few months. We shall see, but the main thing is I have product that I can sell and pull myself back out of the red, as it were. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to make our way over to the dairy now, pick up these pallets. I'm going to do a bit of a back and two time lapse, sorting out the pallets and the straw bales there. So let's get cracking and get some money back. And there we go. I'm really happy with that. We started this episode with just under 4,000 quid in the bank, and I was griping on about being skint and getting all the soil scans done and all that kind of stuff, and now 6,926 quid in the positive, as it were. So I'm quite chuffed with myself that I've managed to pull myself out of that little hole. So we've actually still got over 1 million litres of straw left in the bale barn as well, which is great. I've just sold a couple more trailers after the bit of a time lapse thing just then. So it's all good. I'm really glad with that. And obviously now that we're in March, we're in spring. There's we can now focus on, potentially in the next episode anyway. Obviously we need to work on getting our new field sorted out when it comes to nitrogen levels. Now the other fields do probably need a little bit of nitrogen increase as well in patches. Obviously now that we have the precision farming data, the soil data there, it does tell us that in some areas it's fine nitrogen levels, but some areas it's okay, in some areas it's bad, just depending on the types of soil. Let's just have a look at, stop here and have a look at this this field here. So we jump out of that thing there. So yeah, so there we go. Yeah, the pH value is bad, obviously, but there's nothing I can do about that until this field has been harvested and we can start that again. The nitrogen level is okay. It's not great, but again, in order for me to take advantage of the new technology that Precision Farming has bought, I can retrofit our sprayer with it, but it's going to cost me 16,200 quid in order to fit the pulse width modulation kit to that thing. And also on top of that, the weed spot spraying, which we don't need at the minute, obviously, because we've got our weeds. We haven't got any weeds in our fields, thankfully, which is good. But if I wanted to fit our sprayer with the spot spray technology, that's going to cost £37,800. So that's a little bit off as well. So we need to claw a bit more money back into the bank in order to achieve that, but 16,200 for the pulse width modulation in order to really take advantage and be really economical with some liquid fertilizer. That's affordable and achievable quite soon, to be honest. I might, for example, take on a couple of contracts, get a little bit of money, quick money back into the bank, and then we can purchase that, get that fitted to the sprayer, and fully increase the nitrogen level of the field here. So at the minute we've got an expected yield of 108% with a yield potential of 125. That's in the wheat, and obviously it'll be a similar story over in the barley and the linseed. But obviously now that we're in March and we do have one empty field, what it does mean is that we can potentially get a bit of oat into the ground, into our new field here over the hedge. So that could be a consideration for sometime within the next couple of episodes. Obviously, like I say, I do need to sort the nitrogen out in this field. What I might do with that possibly is take advantage of a bit of our digestate and get a bit of digestate spread in this field, perhaps a bit of natural fertilizer, save us a bit of money there. Obviously, I can't do that in these fields. Obviously the slurry tanker is way too big, and with its big wheels and stuff, to be rattling around in a germinated field, of course. So I might just take advantage of that while that field is empty and treat the soil to a bit of nitrogen in that respect. But all that's to come in the next couple of episodes. It's nice to have a little bit of a plan moving forward, and like I said before, I'm just really chuffed with myself that I've managed to oh, we're up to 7233 now. Of course we've just ticked over on the hour, haven't we? So it's just gone over 9 o'clock in the morning. So just over 7 grand. That'll do. Not bad at all. So, for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, though, I am going to call it here. Thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the episode and found it a little bit of fun. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please give the video a like if you can. It does do wonders. It helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And as always, there are a host of links in the video description below with my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 and you like the idea of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, as always, I would be massively appreciative. And also, if any of you are in the market for purchasing an online server to play with your mates and you like the idea again of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, please consider using my G-Portal affiliate link, which again will be in the video description below. Any help and support there also would be massively appreciated. So, thank you very much for your time again, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.